Mark, this is such a, powerful film, and it's anchored by you bringing, Joe Bell to life on screen. What type of prep did you do? And did you speak with the family a lot, in order to portray him?
Yeah. I think with Larry and Donna's screenplay, it was all pretty much right there on the page. But to really understand who Joe was and what a complex individual he was, I got most of that information from Lola, from Joseph, and also from Dusty. And it was and of course other people who had interacted with Joe in various parts of his life and his journey and all of those things. And we wanted to make sure that while handling the film with the sensitivity and respect that it deserved, that I also gave a really honest portrayal, a portrayal of who Joe was. And that was a guy who was complicated and had a very difficult and abusive upbringing. And he was then trying to navigate waters that he just was not equipped to deal with.
Yeah, he's a person that had to learn these very important lessons in a very tragic way. And the film has this important message. And, we've made a lot of progress, but still people aren't always accepting to LGBT plus youth. And, can you speak to the personal growth that Joe really goes through on this journey?
Yeah, well, I think he's devastated with the realization that he was as responsible for this tragedy as the kids bullying his son at school, because he felt like the only way to protect his son was to shelter him and not allow him to be who he really was. When obviously it's the complete opposite. You have to really allow them to be seen and heard and completely love them unconditionally and support them. And really for Joe to be Jaden's cheerleader, because he was so brave. He was not afraid to be who he was. But if he wasn't getting that support at home and he was getting treated the way he was at school, then really he felt so lost. But yeah, I think, we got to continue to spread that message. There's so much divide in our country and all over the world, really. The only way that we're going to bring people together is through love and understanding. So we want to continue to, push Joe's message, get him to New York and get him across the rest of the country and talk to all the other Joe Bells out there, because there's a lot of people who, if they haven't dealt with this directly themselves, then they just don't, they're unable to really understand it. And that's a problem, and God forbid anybody else has to deal with this kind of tragedy. It's heartbreaking.
Reed Miller has an incredible performance, and there's so many touching scenes, especially in the beginning of the film where, we see yourself and Reed walking along, and you'd think it was just a father and son on this journey, but, there's so much more to it emotionally. Can you talk to Reed's performance and how impactful those scenes on the road were?
Yeah, I keep telling everybody that I'm speaking to today that at least 20 wonderful, amazing young actors came in to audition for this part. They were all fantastic. But when Reed walked in the door, I don't know, part of my son, Brendan, part of my son, Michael, walked in with him. He has so many things just reminded me of my own sons, the way that he responded to me, some of his mannerisms. So I immediately felt a really personal connection with him. And there was a chemistry there that, really was just became magic, and he was really committed to telling the story for all the right reasons and wanting to show Jaden as the light and the loving person that he was.
What do you really hope that people take away from Joe Bell and take away from, this tragedy that happened, two tragedies that happened?
Well, hopefully that we will start coming together and loving and support each other unconditionally, and that we could prevent these sort of things from happening. Communication, obviously, being the key. So many people dealing with mental health issues and not having a voice, or not having somebody to really listen to them and support them and understand them, and encourage them and give them the help that they need. So yeah, we just want people to start opening their hearts and their minds, and start to love a little bit more.
Mark, thank you so much for your time today. It's a wonderful film.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it, buddy. Pleasure.